Hey, welcome to Chick Chat.
Casey,
Casey, who's
let's
in the
see.
house?
I'm in the house.
Who's in the house? Hey, I'm in the house.
There's three people in the house. Who are you? Speak up.
Who's in the house? Say hello. If you joined us, we would be very happy if you said hello. You could say hello back. And also, if you could share out our stream for us, that would be awesome. We would appreciate it. And if you dance in with us, because, it's like cool music, man. All right. So I'm calm. Are you calm?
I'm calm.
Let's see. We got some calm music. Hold on. This is kind of calm music. Yeah. I mean,
Don't go too calm. I'll fall asleep. Okay.
So tonight we are talking about being calm in the chaos, after the chaos, before the chaos,
During
the chaos.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? So, Heather, I am going to defer to you this evening. You're going to talk to us about calm in the chaos.
Well, basically, I posted on my Facebook yesterday about how which you and I both have, when you've been in a toxic relationship, sometimes when the calm comes, you don't know that's what it is because you're so used to the chaos that you think the calm is like I'm bored or there's no excitement or whatever. And the reality is it's just normal. It's calm. It's peace. It's content. And being able to recognize that.
Okay.
So
all right. So as we talk about this topic about calm in the chaos, and we're talking about relationships, I guess then. Well, you're going to talk about relationships. Yeah. I'm going to talk about it in a different respect after I hear what you have to share about one. How do we know if we're in a chaotic relationship? Like, what are the signs that you're in a chaotic relationship?
Well, I mean, I think it's different. It's different for yours was different than mine. Mine was an alcoholic who was abusive, and yours was not an alcoholic, but was abusive in different ways. So I think that, I mean, obviously when you have physical, mental, verbal abuse going on, it's chaos. Right. So yours being different than that, what was yours like?
Well, I mean, it wasn't different, actually. I mean, I had a first relationship before that was alcoholic and chaos. And so the second, my other relationship, major relationship, had a bit of that in it too, but it had a lot of activity. Like there was always a problem. There was always something for me to solve. There was always something that I had to, deal with emotionally, and, just constant. It was like I never rested, like it was just constantly always a problem. By the end of that, I was kind of like exhausted. I mean, I was exhausted because I was constantly trying to put out fires, and it just never came. So, and I was trying to do it on my own too.
Right.
So, I didn't lean. I mean, I leaned into God and my friends at some point, but then I would take it back when I would get embarrassed. Like I was really embarrassed about the chaos in my life. I was always taught not to have that chaos, that if you just like suppressed it and pushed it down, that then maybe you don't have to deal with it. And then maybe you can just, gloss it over. Like, right. Hey, yeah, we look okay over here.
Well, and you were around for the end of mine, talking about being embarrassed. You witnessed something that happened, and then you heard me tell the lie of how it happened. Yes. And so, because I was too embarrassed to tell the truth of what happened. So I get that part too. And that's part of it though, right?
Yeah. You start defending the person that's causing the chaos in your life. You defend them because of yourself. You're like, how did I get into this situation? How did I let myself get here? And then now I'm embarrassed about it because I can't
Right.
solve
Are
it.
we defending them, or are we defending the fact that we're still there?
Yeah, both.
Right.
Both. I mean, I just start, by the end of that relationship, I just stopped talking about it. I was like, I'm just going to stop talking about this because, there's no, everybody's tried to give me their input and advice and nobody could solve it. The only person that could solve it was the person that was doing the, it was in the chaos. And, I mistook chaos for love, which is crazy. I mistook my feelings about that chaos as love. Like, like I thought, well, because I feel these crazy ways, that must mean I love that person.
Or it's passionate. We're so extreme
Right.
one or the other because we're passionate.
Right. Right. That makes the relationship exciting, right?
No, it's bullshit.
That's right. That's right. So it's really hard to, if you're in that relationship or that kind of relationship, you have to really, like I always say, you have to introspect. You're going to have to look at, where you're at and how you're dealing with it and how to, create, healthy boundaries and healthy, your healthy self-esteem. And, you have to build all kinds of things at that point. But how did you get there? Like, I was embarrassed at that. How did I get there? Like, I was like, I'm smarter than this.
Yep.
I've called myself stupid for a long time. I would always go, oh, I'm so stupid. And my friends would be like, stop saying that. You're not stupid. I mean, it's not stupidity. I think it's really just not recognizing and not dealing with your stuff. Like, just really not dealing with it. Like, you just keep trying to put a Band-Aid. You keep trying to, do all those things.
Well,
So
it goes back to, like you and I have talked about multiple times in the show, being codependent, because I know that you and I have had conversations about my last relationship, seeing 50,000 red flags and being like, well, let me just walk through here and see if I can not get smacked with them. Like,
yeah.
Or, there's a huge fire in front of me. What are the odds I can walk through that fire and not get burnt? And then when you get burnt, you're like, well,
right.
So like it's all of that. I would say that's the first thing you have to do, is to start just to figure out why you're okay with letting that type of behavior stay in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of moments of calm and peace. If I, the only time that happened for me though, is if I really took it to God and gave it to him and said, okay, I can't handle this. I have to lay it at your feet, because there is no way that I'm humanly, emotionally, all of those things going to be able to deal with that. So, I mean, it really took that. But then me being a person, me being human, who's not perfect.
Yep.
Hey, Carla.
Hey, Carla.
Thanks for joining. I would take it back. I would pick it back up, and then try to deal with it again, because I felt like I had to. I felt like, well, I have to deal with this somehow, but did I? Yeah. I mean, I did, business sense wise, but I really could have did myself a huge favor by actually recognizing what was happening, and recognizing things. But, when you're in it, it's hard to see it. When you're in the middle of that chaos and that tornado, it's hard to see it. It is.
Yeah, I think for me, it wasn't. I think it was very, very obvious. I think it was more difficult for me to figure out how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because,
and that's the other part of obligation. Did you feel obligated to stay? Because, and we do when we're in a toxic relationship, we feel obligated to stay because of, finances or children or, yeah, but that's going to be so difficult to move this couch, like, you know what I mean? Like, you make all these crazy excuses in your head as to why you can't, you know, instead of why you should, you
Well,
know.
I don't even think, because part of the process, the calm after the chaos is getting real with yourself. And for me, I don't think any of that was the reason. I mean, I made more money, so that wasn't the issue. I didn't have kids with them, so that wasn't the issue. Mine, I think, was my abandonment issues poured over into my loyalty of staying with him because fill in the blank.
Right. Right.
So it
You
wasn't
wanted
it wasn't a money thing. It wasn't
you
a
wanted
kids
a
thing.
companionship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all have our different reasons. All of our relationships are so unique and different, you know. But, there can be some general things that we do, to stay calm in the midst of it. But really get out of it. like, like like calm in the chaos. Well, what is causing you the chaos? And I did bring up a quote by Brian Tracy that says, set peace of mind as your highest goal and organize your life around it. So it really is an intention, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a mindset. So you can be in the midst of things that are chaotic, as long as you allow yourself to set an intention of peace of mind, you know,
Yeah.
not allowing, not to be reactive, to anything. And I think that's what's helped me, as I've matured a little bit, to not react to every single thing of in any toxic relationship or any toxic situation, even, not all relationships are toxic, but sometimes we have toxic things in a relationship, right? Like,
Right.
we don't escape it, you know, there toxic things can happen, you
Yeah.
know. It's just how do you behave in it, how do you react to it, I was a when I worked in the medical field and I was a manager and I had to do a lot of conflict resolution. The first thing there's steps to it, in conflict resolution. It's just, you know, don't be reactive.
Right. But
Like,
isn't that hard after the fact? Because I know, I'm gonna call somebody out sitting right here, but like in the relationship I'm in now, like he doesn't. When you're in that toxic thing, everything you say, it's like this made me feel, and automatically they're defensive, and there's a communication issue, and it turns into something, and that's not the case now. And so I still find myself like, he didn't react, so he doesn't. I don't know how to take that. There's no reaction. Like, okay, that was simple. That was easy. Okay, cool. We're moving on. But it's like
right,
you get so used to I can't voice my feelings because that's gonna set off whatever. That when
right,
it is normal and it's like healthy communication, you're like, I don't really know how to take that.
right. It's harder to navigate the healthy when you're coming from the unhealthy. And then you're thinking, well, they just don't care about this, obviously.
No, I haven't gotten to that point. But yes, I mean I've been there, but
Right.
um, because there is such good open communication now, that's not an issue. But I do find myself sometimes like, oh, okay, that didn't even phase him. All right, cool.
That's awesome. Well, I
Don't
mean,
know.
that's a good thing. That's a
Yeah,
great thing. That's healthy, and not being reactionary, or, you know, I mean, I think we just wait for triggers to happen, like, okay, what's gonna happen,
yeah.
because we're so used to the other way of communication.
Yeah,
And
God
it
forbid
comes
I ask him
down
to
to
take out the trash.
communication.
That's
Uh-huh.
gonna. I said, God forbid I ask him to take out the trash. That's gonna trigger a whole fight.
Right. You don't even know how to deal with that, right? I mean, I was doing things like that, like, okay, I can't tell the person that I'm going here until the last minute, because before it would become a big huge issue in a fight, if I ever said I was going somewhere or doing something, it would be sabotaged. Like, anything that I was ever going to set out to do, in the future for the week, it would be sabotaged by, the other person. And so I unfortunately have done this ducking thing of, like, I'm not going to bring it up until the last minute because I'm afraid of it being sabotaged. So I
Right.
found myself going through that, going, oh, I don't have to do that. Oh, I don't know what to do with that, that I
Right.
don't have to do that, you
Even like
know?
sitting at a table, like we went to see my youngest daughter and we're sitting at the table and I didn't have to say, let me make sure I keep including him or he's going to get offended, or let me make sure, because it always had to be about that person. And then it's just like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like you keep waiting for something to happen that doesn't happen.
Well,
That's the calm part that I'm getting used to.
that's awesome. That's an awesome thing to get used to. So, I mean, I'm just going to bring up, okay, so there's this book, Switch on Your Brain, that I read about. It only takes 5 to 16 minutes a day to reprogram your brain. Like you can take 21 days reading this book, how to retrain your brain. And it's in those kind of things, like really focusing on something, I think that we just, I mean, there's grooves that are in our brain that actually just have triggers that we go, okay, this is when we do this. This is when we do that. So I totally suggest anybody that's dealing with, their triggers and dealing with, not knowing how to be calm, in a healthy relationship, but this is a great book. It's by Dr. Carolyn Leaf. And, you know, uh, she talks about it. I mean, our brain does a lot of neat things. I mean, this will teach you a lot on how your brain reacts to all of those things that we're talking about. How all those times we had to react in a different way. It actually taught us. Our brain actually now has that. Like this is how you react when this happens. And that doesn't mean it's healthy. That
Right.
it can be the unhealthy ways. So there are things to do. And she talks about, really getting meditative, praying, meditation, those kind of things to calm yourself, to refocus. And I know a lot of people, other coaches, they do breath work and things like that. They do tapping. I mean, there's all these other modalities, depending on where you're at, that, what works for you, if you
Right.
like it or you don't. Me personally, I just need to get in a calm. And that's why I have my candle. Like I'll turn the lights off, put the candles on. I'll, put the music on. I'll do the things that I know that are going to calm me, from just overthinking and over, reacting or anything. Hey, Amy, nice. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about being calm in chaos. So, what are the things that
Olivia
you,
is calm.
huh?
So Olivia is calm.
Olivia is not calm. But if you want to know your level of calm, you get around a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Anyway, cheers, everybody. Do you have your drink? Oh, I'm this way. See, I don't know how to go that way. Cheers. And that's what my shirt says. My shirt says, cheers,
Here's
y'all.
y'all.
Cheers, y'all. So I hope you guys are all doing good tonight. So I think what you're talking about now is the gist. As I was thinking we were going to talk about how do you get calm in chaos, but now you're like, how do we deal with being calm now
Well,
that you're in a healthier place. You're in a healthier place in all the areas, not just in that relationship, but you know, understanding, that not everything needs a reaction. Not everything needs an answer, right? Like,
yeah, because the thing is, if I'd have been in this relationship a year ago, I probably would have screwed it up. I wasn't ready. I hadn't done enough of the work. I probably would have messed it up. But
yeah,
um because I've done the work and where I'm at and figuring out how to get calm and how to, process through where I've been, then now I'm ready and I can enjoy the healthy relationship that I have.
yeah, that's awesome. I think that there's always a shift that we go through, because when the younger me, just had a lot of things that I wanted to get accomplished and done and this and that. And I never thought about being calm ever. Like I'm like a Tigger, what are we doing? Where are we going? What, like, and it's finally at this place that you have to come to want that calm, that peace.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't, you know.
Yeah, because even you and I 2 years ago, we didn't want that calm. We were still
No.
at the stage where we were out and we were constantly on the go. We were constantly doing. So we didn't have to do the calm.
Well, I like that people always use that. We're not human doings, we're human beings.
Right.
And so when you're a human being, it is really important for you to just be. And one of my favorite scriptures is, be still and know that I am God. And what does that mean? That just means be still. Don't worry, let him take care of it, like be still, and I have another couple of quotes. And I'm not into the Eastern ways of thinking, spirituality. However, Buddha says, do not learn how to react, but learn how to respond. And then the Dalai Lama says, calm mind brings inner strength and self-confidence. So that's very important for good health. So, I go to, hey, hi, Doris. Thanks for joining. I go to reflexology, which is it's relax the feet, and it's where they touch your feet and they you go in a dark room and you get the massage, and your feet are certain places on your body, certain organs and stuff, and like it just kind of works it out. You're like, nope, but for some people that works. Like some people do yoga, some people do meditation, some people you just have to find what goes for you, but you have to seek after it. Like it's just not going to happen. That's the thing.
Yeah, the reflexology for me is just it ends up, they're too rough, it ends up hurting me. But I got a pedicure yesterday. That was pretty good. I like that.
Hey, and I know that there are ladies out there that's part of their calm. Like just think, you can't move your fingers or your feet, so you can't be looking at your phone, right? Like you can unplug. I do see people doing it, but
no, because I was getting my nails soaked off and I was getting my toes did, and I was like just chilling, like it was, and I couldn't be on my phone, so I definitely was unplugged for at least 30 minutes.
So calm in the chaos, though. How do you calm your mind? What is it what tools do you have? Everybody has their own tool belt, their own.
For me, it's obviously prayer. That's something you and I have always, first and foremost.
Yes.
Journaling. I journal a lot. I haven't so much the last week or so, but I journal a lot. Exercise, going to the gym.
That's so good to hear you say.
Meditate. I haven't been in a while, a couple of weeks either, but meditation has always been, just getting quiet, because my mind is so hard to get it to stop. That's kind of when I can not necessarily stop it, but like just get in with my thoughts.
Here we go. Amy's got a good one. So learning to listen to God even when listening to others, and be thinking before you respond. Ask God to respond through you. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't exactly hear him if you're constantly reacting. If you're 2 steps ahead of him or 2 steps ahead in the conversation. I was so bad about that. I can't play, honey. I can't play right now, honey.
Gigi, we gotta play with our families.
Huh?
So Gigi, we gotta play with our families.
Yeah. No. Oh.
Well,
That was not to me. Anyhow, how to stay calm in the chaos. That's what this is about, Matthew.
and I think for me, like, I have to go through and make a very clear idea of what I want in my future to look like.
Yeah. What does it look like?
Exactly what it is right now. Get in trouble.
Good. Yeah.
There's my chaos.
2-year-olds are fun.
Yes,
They really show you what chaos is. Okay, so Doris says she reads her devotional and listens to instrumental music. Same here. That's exactly. Yes, I have instrumental music. I listen to jazz for yoga if you ask Alexa for jazz for yoga, it comes out with this awesome playlist, that's just kind of calm. Use it for, and some people like to take baths. Um, you know, uh, I mean, you just have to find what you can tap into, what works for you, but like we were saying in the beginning, and some of you have joined us now, how do you know you're in chaos? What are the things, exterior things that are causing your chaos? I mean, is it something, you have to ask yourself, is it something that I can stop? Is it something that I have a solution for? And is it a boundary I need to put up with someone? You have to ask some leading questions on,
Right.
what is causing the chaos. Now, if it's a relationship,
Get
I
out.
mean, huh?
Say get out.
That's going to cause chaos. But, you have to, I feel like sometimes, we don't ask those questions. We just don't take the time to evaluate. So evaluating where the chaos is coming from and what your reaction is, I mean, that diffuses it half the time already. It's not something that you have to do. If you have the right boundaries up,
Right.
you can mitigate all of that if you put the right boundaries up. So Amy Pilates, she does hers, and stretching, reading the Bible, and devotions. I see that you all are going towards that, and I'm with you. That helps me, keep my mind off it. And reading, I love reading. I also got a coloring. I have a Monet coloring book. Like, I'll sit down and just, like, if I focus on that one thing, that helps me to, stop focusing on those other things. And so, Doris, okay, sometimes it's things you can't control, negative coworkers. Yep.
I work by myself. I don't have to worry about
All,
that.
yeah. I start a positive yeah, I can see you doing that, Doris. She is like the smiliest, just most positive person. I can see her doing that. And I used to do that. I used to, have negative coworkers. If I can't, I'm not going to join in. I can tell you that. Don't join into that. Don't tie yourself to any of that. You got the dogs, I got the 2-year-old. So how,
Oh, you have no idea how we've got dogs.
huh?
So we have been having issues with the dogs for 24 hours. So we're at the point now we just laugh.
Oh, okay. Yes. How do you deal with that chaos? Yes. Well, think about that. If you have an unruly dog, like, what do? You usually crate them, right? Like, you can put them in a crate. I know you
I can't
used
tell
to.
you what I thought about doing last night.
Okay.
I said,
The doggy.
we have one that cries
No.
all night because he's not allowed in bed anymore. And so last
Oh.
night I said, hand me your gun.
Oh.
I wasn't really going to shoot the dog. Let's be clear. But
Oh my goodness.
we didn't
Oh
sleep
my
at all.
goodness. She's bringing chaos into this conversation. She is bringing some chaos because there's going to be some PETA's coming after you now. No, you wouldn't.
No,
Yeah.
I would not. But
I mean, that, and think about that. Your dog has to be retrained. You have to, set down the bound, and that's hard. If you have a chaotic relationship and you didn't put the right boundaries up, then to retrain that relationship or to reset your boundaries, we're allowed to set our boundaries at any time. So don't think that you're out, of control here. I mean,
right.
you can start today. Change your mindset on it. Change how you deal with that person. Change how you deal with that situation. We're always learning, we're always evolving. So change how you interact, and for me, I learned a big lesson about those boundaries. There's a book, Codependent No More, and then there's a book called Boundaries. So those two books are awesome to get if you feel like you're always in a needy relationship or anything. You might see yourself in those two books. There's also another one called Attached. Your attachment style in a relationship is, what is your attachment style? So I recommend those three books. And then, of course, I recommend the Bible, of course, as, certain Psalms help me through, Proverbs. I don't really go to Proverbs as much as I go to Psalms, because it seems like Psalms are always trying to calm you, a lot of the time. What about you? What's your go-to books?
I don't really do a lot of. I mean, Codependent No More. I did that one because I called you and went, "Oh my God, I'm so codependent." The boundary one, I got through a lot of it. Attached, I've gotten through most of it. Like I know enough to know my attachment style, but I think they're all really good. I do a lot of audiobooks because I don't like to read so much. I fall asleep, so that I don't get very far. But I've done a lot of audiobooks. All three of those I definitely think are great. I think you have to know the information along with like your love languages and things like that as to go into something new, because
men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
because I know that mine have changed.
Yeah.
After going through a toxic relationship, I didn't used to need words of affirmation, and now it's one of the top. So
always retake that test if you don't know what your love language. Mine has changed too. Like I've actually take personality tests. Right. I don't know, but do you know what an Enneagram is? Mm-hmm. Like, so the Enneagram kind of, if you guys never have done it, it's not something woo woo. It's a really awesome test to see, what personality type you are. And it helps you to understand other personality types, and it helps you to understand how to communicate with the other personality types. And once you peg your own, then it's easier to see. Like they call it a personality type with a wing. So like you really do have two types of personalities. You're dominantly this, and then you have your other part of your personality is the second one. So I mean, if you guys look it up in Enneagram, there's lots of free tests out there to take that. And in spiritual sense, there's one called gifttest.org. If you go to gifttest.org, it shows you your spiritual personality, which is really neat to figure out. But I mean, those are the things, but that's you working on you. And again, right. You're going to calm that chaos if you're working on you and you're not focused on outward. If you're constantly like trying to improve how you communicate, how you're going to be, I mean, you're in control of your life. I know it feels like you're not, but you can be. And like Doris said with her coworkers, she gets to change the topic. So she's still in control of it in a way because she's changing the topic. She's doing something different. She could join in with them and cause more chaos. You just have to see, I mean, we talk about it every week. I know that's what the show is turned into. Is we talk about working on yourself, working on yourself. And, God has a purpose for each one of us. So, working on yourself and walking in your purpose, what's your purpose in all of these different things, who are you, in Christ? Who are you? What is your purpose? And I think that helps to solve lots of things, Hey,
I don't know who Sunshine they're talking to. I don't know who you are, Facebook user. But
hi, Facebook user. Hello, thanks. Good afternoon. They're in the afternoon, so I don't know who
it's the evening, Sunshine. But I think also part of that doing that work is, the hard part is you have to stop and recognize what happened to you in that relationship, first of all, and then stopping contact with that person, which I struggled with that for quite a while.
Yeah, the no contact people. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, just surrounding yourself with people that are positive and supportive instead of, I just don't think you can do it by yourself.
No, no, I don't think so either. But you have to recognize that you have some work to do.
Right.
Like you have the work to do. I mean, people can, a horse, you can lead a horse to water, but do they drink or not? That's up to the horse.
Yeah.
You can give all the resources. We could give you a million book titles,
Yep.
a million scriptures. But if you're not actively applying it to your life, then your life will not be transformed and changed.
No, because
You
I know
have
that
to
people,
apply these things.
we have friends that were in the same place we were when I met you, 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And they're still there.
Right.
Because they're not doing the work. And then they're still picking toxic people. They're still doing the same thing. Whereas,
right. You have to,
do the work and then you end up, God sends you what you've been praying for.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Well, I know. Look at that little smile on your face. So that's always a good thing. So, it is. It's about, God comes into partnership with you through this, and people do too. Like get that surrounding people, those people that are going to encourage you and for you to be the best who you can be,
Yeah.
I mean, you still have to do the work though. It's solely up to working on, those places, those hurts and everything, and not using them as not staying in victimhood and not staying, in blaming, and I feel like coming at things with gratitude and forgiveness helps to alleviate some of those areas, like gratitude and forgiveness of things. I was stuck in a rut of labeling people all the time the same thing, like, oh, this person's this person's this person's that. Well, stop looking at the person and look at me. What is it that's making these people attract to me? Like, what is it that is wrong here?
Right.
As to why those people are in my life or why those people are attracted to me. So what you put out there is what you attract back. If you're seeking a relationship or something like that, you have to come, they talk about, people doing 50-50. I believe it's 100-100. Like both people need to be whole, though, sometimes we need help and we can be 90, we're going to help the other person, but I feel like you have to be a whole person to be in a really successful relationship. And you
Yeah.
can change that at any time, even if you're already in a relationship and it's going down the wrong road, you have to make decisions for yourself. Is this the relationship you should be in? Is it something that you're going to stick with? Is it something that can be solved? What are your obstacles? What is it that you can do to either get out of that relationship if it's not, if it's not a healthy one,
Well,
or working on yourself first.
yeah, because that's where it starts. But you
Working on
asked earlier, how do you know if you're in chaos? My thing to that would be if you're constantly craving chaos, you're probably living in chaos. For me, when it comes across now, I'm like, I'm out. Like, just like today, I was telling you, somebody brought some stuff and I'm like, I'm out. Like, I don't want any part of it. Where I used to, it was like, ooh, let me get some of that gossip or let me get some of that whatever, because it's what I was used to. And now I don't have time. I don't have the energy. Like, I got better things to do.
Right. If we're out here trying to achieve some dreams here and we have some ambition and goals, the last thing you need is a bunch of chaos, to obstruct you and to become the obstacle. Because I think about things like that, in the past. I was going to school and I looked at my grades the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, I got C's and D's. But I remember what was happening in my personal life, and I was like, well, that definitely had, something to do with it. So, I mean, I think about that. And I was like, yeah, wasn't a great student anyway, but I was just looking at that transcript, just ugh, but I have to remember where I was at, you know, emotionally, and that's what I mean. If you're not healthy emotionally, if you're not healthy spiritually, if you're not healthy in your physical body, all of those things are going to be an obstacle for you to get to your goals, to strive for those things. So it's just so important to do the mind, body, spirit, always, trying to improve those places in yourself. You can't change another person, you just can't. And so if the chaos is coming from a relationship that won't be solved, you have to take a hard look at the things that you need to do.
Yep.
And it's because you're like, well,
right. But well, and then also surrounding yourself. We talked about surrounding yourself with people. What is Jim Rohn says? You are the average of the 5 people you're closest.
You're the average of the 5. Yep.
So for me, it's like, even though I've done a lot of work and I've made a lot of progress and not, engaging or getting upset about things, like having somebody who doesn't get upset about anything, it's nice, because like we're in traffic and I'm like, and he's like, it's fine.
It's fine.
Like, there's very little things that really get upset about.
Yeah.
You scratch your truck up. I'm upset. He's like, it's just a scratch.
Wow. That's healthy. Like he knows himself. He's got temperance. He's got self-control and temperance. I mean, he not being reactive
without cussing. Okay.
Huh?
I've never.
That's true. Dallas is pretty tough. Dallas is tough.
Never
man.
That upset.
It is. Well, cheers on that. Cheers, y'all. See my shirt. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.
I had to say it with a Southern accent. Sorry. So, well, I mean, so you feel calm now.
Most of the time. And like, if I do start to feel myself get a little worked up, then I'm pretty quick to reel it in.
Well,
but I don't react near like I used to.
Same, except for in traffic. I will not say that I'm not a terrible behind the wheel, but I am. I've tried. The one thing that I've changed is I don't cuss, but I call all the people. I don't call them names. I go, okay, person, get out of my way. Okay, people, I don't get over there. I call them a person.
Necessarily, but I just call people. I can't say it on. I mean, I have a term that I use.
Yeah.
Blood canoe. And so. Yes.
Wow.
That's my go-to.
With shoes on.
But I don't drive that often anymore, so it's fine.
What are you doing? You got your shoes on with your pajamas? She's got footy pajamas on with her shoes on.
That's funny.
If anybody will show you temperance and what it looks like or doesn't, is a 2-year-old. But it's fascinating. It's fascinating to see, to help them regulate their emotions. Like now I understand the whole term about, when you're acting like a 2-year-old. Well, yeah, that, having random meltdowns for no reason.
I've never been told that.
Oh, I've heard that. I've heard it. So yeah, just random. You never know what's going to upset them. It's just, every once in a while.
What's that?
I don't know. I'm not sure what it is.
It's like, I don't know. Go away.
Where's
Dad?
It's a pineapple. It's a pineapple. Oh, see, now she's mad.
Yep. That's right.
See, she's mad.
Well, so one last thing that I would say before, like, when you get to the calm, on the way to the calm from the chaos, you have to forgive yourself for accepting the chaos.
Yes. Stop. Yeah. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. That's first. Like like I was saying earlier, I was calling myself stupid all the time. I'm so stupid that I, put up with that and did that. And, I just didn't have a healthy way of handling, something, when when you're not healthy, you accept a lot of things that you shouldn't accept.
Well, and that
So
kind of goes back to the thing like therapy. I'm a
definitely get some.
huge fan of therapy. I've been in it most of my life, but yeah.
Well, anybody have any questions? Like, I mean, I've heard people have chaoses in their mind, in their own mind. It doesn't even have to be external. Sometimes it's internal. You've got the chaos just kind of going, constant, how to slow that. I've heard people say, well, how do I stop that? How do I stop thinking about that? How I stop ruminating on that? What is it I can do to shift? And I say, you got to shift your focus. You got to shift your focus on something outward, like shift your focus on something, like I said, like gratitude, or, shift your focus on, someone else, or serving, or whatever you have to do, to get yourself out of that, that rut that you're in.
Figure
Just
out who
constantly.
you are. I mean, I think that's the number
Mhm.
one thing, acknowledge what you're in, forgive yourself for being there, and then figure out who the heck you are so that you can, and what you want your future to look like. Like that's the biggest points.
Yeah.
And then figuring out how to get from that point to there.
Right. And even though we're always on here going cheers and we have like a drink or something, I definitely do not advocate for us to calm our minds with any other substances, not unless, like we're talking about with therapy, or,
Right.
if you need antidepressants. I mean, don't let that be taboo either. If you need stuff to calm yourself, all in moderation, go see somebody, go talk
Oh, yeah,
to, do talk therapy, do whatever you need to do to help get yourself out of that rut. Because,
Well, let's be
in
honest,
your own mind.
you can't do the work if you're drunk. Let's just be clear.
No,
If you're
no,
drinking every day, you can't have a mindset to do the work.
no.
So you got to be,
Because your physical health suffers. Your physical health suffers. It takes a day and a half. Alcohol turns into acetate in your liver, which it's the first fuel. And this is what I used to tell my weight loss patients. Like, it takes a day and a half for you to start burning your own energy and not that alcohol. So that alcohol stays in your system for a day and a half, even just to, huh? Bye, you're leaving? Oh, okay, bye. Love you. Love you. Love you. I didn't know they were leaving. Anyway, no, you. I know. Don't ever forget to do that either. Tell people you love them. That gets you out of chaos. I'll tell you, it does.
It does, yeah.
It does.
I mean, here's the thing: if you're constantly telling somebody that you love them or how amazing you think they are, these bugs are, I don't know where they're coming from.
I was like, what is funny?
Those little gnat fruit fly things that are always here in Johnson County. But if you're always telling your partner or your friends or whoever, how much you love them, how amazing they are, how happy they make you, it's really hard to get to a point where you're like, I'm miserable with this person, or I don't like them, or I don't.
Right.
So,
well,
yeah.
it's important. It is important to edify others, and to tell others how you feel about them. That does help to mitigate the chaos. That's for sure. And just don't stop beating yourself up. Stop beating yourself up. But again, like we went over, there are certain things that you can do, and I know that Heather, tell them about your podcast.
Wow, you can listen to the Motivational Mentor on Spotify, and that will cheer you up.
That's right. You can listen to that. And then I have a podcast too under Sash Coach, and it's and that the actual first one that I did is a meditation to calm yourself. So that's exactly what it's about, on how to do the breath work to calm yourself and to go into a state of, refocusing. So, you can check that out on Sash Coach podcast. It's on Anchor and all the different different podcasts out there on Spotify and Apple Podcast. So, yes. So, what's your next topic in your podcast, Heather?
I
Oh, you don't
I
know.
don't have
Okay.
one. I don't have one on the books. I had one this weekend, but my bestie Carla, I don't know if she's still on here. She's coming to town tomorrow night, so I canceled my podcast recording for Thursday. But I've got some crazy good ones coming up in the next probably 3 to 4 weeks. So
Awesome.
we're going to talk
Awesome.
about one lady is a advocate for foster care and adoption. So we're going to talk about that and how flawed the
Awesome.
system is.
Awesome.
I've got a health coach that will be on, and I've got, well, I don't know. My friend Shauna is going to be on there, but I'm not sure what she's going to talk about because she's got so many different stories that she could benefit. I don't know what she's going to talk about, so I'm not sure on that yet.
Great.
And I think we're going to do one coming up on grief.
Yeah. I mean, grief, it's always good to talk about grief, instead of, not talking about it.
Right.
So, I, here locally, if you're in Norfolk, Virginia, I have started a nonprofit called the OV Mermaid Brigade, and I'm taking donations. If you want to private message me, would love to get your donations of a blanket and toiletries for the homeless. So I've just started that. So would love for you to reach out to me if you want to help put those packages together, help me drop them off to the homeless right before we go into cold season. I would really appreciate it because there's not as many homeless, organizations around this area. There is in downtown Norfolk, but not really where I'm at. So, and I've seen a lot of homeless lately. So just want to do something. So if you want to donate, please let me know. I'm not taking any money. No money donations, just things, just blankets and toiletries and socks, stuff like that. So,
okay. Well, I'm gonna match that. I'm gonna start gathering some here, and then I'll send them to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Money, I guess I'll have to actually do some work.
Well, that's the thing is like, there's something about that. Like giving money is one thing, but I actually just want the donations. So, that I don't have to worry about going shopping, for the things too.
Blankets, socks, what else?
Socks, blankets, the toiletries being toothbrushes, toothpaste, wipes, because they use the wipes. And then I'm just going to give them a little donation of food at the time. So, don't worry about that. But just really the blankets and the socks are important,
Can you put the, can you put the mermaid or the link to your thing on our
I will.
page?
I will. I think I can do it right now because it's the OV.
And then we will do some work here as well and send them all to you.
Okay, great. Thank you guys so much because we really will. And I'll do it afterwards. So, because it's not coming up, but anyway, all right. Well, you guys
went on there.
So any closing thoughts, any closing comments for you guys? What do you guys do? I mean, how do you feel about this topic of chaos? So,
I mean, I think Carla's still on here. She said she's still here, but I know she's been in a toxic relationship and she's she's thriving. So I think, the thing I would say is there's hope. There's hope afterwards, which I did, not that long ago. I stood up in front of a bunch of people and said there was no Prince Charming. There was no love at first sight. There was no any of that stuff. And then I'm a liar.
Oh, no. You stood up and said there wasn't, huh?
I did. It was part of my speech.
Oh, okay. Well, that law of attraction didn't work then.
So, and then now I'm a damn liar. So
yeah, there you go. Well, hey, then we all have hope.
There's
I'm happy
hope.
to see that. I'm happy to hear that. So we all have hope.
There's always hope.
But or you're just happy in your own skin and
I
with
mean, I
your
was-
own
I was
self.
that too. I
Yeah,
was that.
yeah. Just
you know,
you're
a month
happy with
ago.
where you're at in your life and who you are, you know? Oh, I like that car. Sonny,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
makes a
Carla.
liar out of you. You have to guard your words.
Yeah.
Your words hold power. So you gotta guard your words, we can think it, but maybe sometimes we have to guard what we say. Hey,
I
I'm glad
just
you're a
said-
liar in that though.
I
Okay.
just said he wasn't going to ride up on a white horse. I didn't realize it was a white truck.
I was gonna say, is it a white truck?
It
Is it a white truck?
is.
All right. Thank you, Doris. I appreciate you joining, and we need to go have dinner soon. So she's here in OV. So, yes,
Okay,
thank
well-
you. Thanks, Doris. You're awesome. She's an encourager. She should be a motivational speaker too. So,
Well, maybe she should be our
Yes.
guest.
yeah, she should be our guest. She has the sunniest outlook on things, I tell you. So she's a ray of positivity. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us tonight. And who knows what our topic will be next week? We'll figure it out as the week goes on.
Monday.
All right. So you all take care and many blessings to your week. And we thank you for joining us and interacting. So we will see you next time. So
Peace.
peace out.